back to another amazing MMA Ireland interview. My name is Zach, and we are joined with a very, very, very special guest here, coming off an amazing win, first round leg break, the one and only Will Brooks. How are you, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm highly favored. I'm highly blessed, man. I'm living good, man.
Nice, nice. And speaking about being blessed, how was your recent Easter holidays? Did you get up to much there?
Yeah, man. It was awesome, man. We did what we usually do. A long time ago, we explained to our kids what Easter is really about. So we don't do the Easter bunny here, but we still do the Easter egg hunt and all that stuff. So we just went around the property and hid eggs. And this year, now that my kids are a little bit older, we made it a little bit more challenging. Hid the eggs a little harder for them to find them, but it was awesome, man. They had a good time. They found all their eggs, got all the candy, painted eggs. We had a blast, man. It was good.
Nice, it sounds great. And I saw on your Instagram, obviously, it seemed like you're up to a bit of family cooking. I mean, that looked amazing. I mean, what sort of dishes were you making?
Yeah, man. We usually do like just like I think that day or that week or over the weekend or Easter weekend, we did breakfast in the morning. We just did pancakes and like some hash browns, just breakfast stuff. And then later on that night, we just did the same thing. We just, cook a bunch of food and just throw it on the counter and everybody just go to work.
With all that cooking, then, do you have a specialty dish that you're always cooking and that just tastes amazing?
Oh, you know what, man? We're big time in like Taco Tuesday in the house,
Nice.
man. Like we do it different all the time. We'll do like a little bit more fried tacos, little hard shell tacos, soft shell. Like last night we did shrimp tacos. But every time we do a Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, we like switch it up. So we'll do ground beef, we'll do some shredded chicken, some shredded pork, do whatever, and we'll just mix it up. But that's definitely my wheelhouse right now. Like that's where I'm at right now.
Nice. I mean, it sounds like a next Tuesday I'm gonna have to come to your house for a bit of some tacos, get involved there because
Hey man, you're
sounds
more
too
than you're
good.
more than welcome, man. We're actually like we're building on the house and we're making more room right now so we can entertain more people.
Extra room.
So it's all good, man. You're more than welcome.
Appreciate it. And obviously, it
Yeah.
seems like after your fight, Easter's come around. Spend a lot of time with the family, cooking, going on Easter egg hunts. After a fight, obviously, you're not going to fight before Easter every time, but stuff like that, does that really help you detox after, like, something that you've been preparing for mentally, physically? Is it a nice way to just sort of relax after a fight?
Yeah, for sure, man, because I've got three kids now, and after I think every child that I've had, I've either had to fight the week of or the week after. So it's been this constant, like, oh, we're having a baby. Oh, I got to fight before, like, whatever. So this time to not have to come home to that and just come home to my kids and just being able to spend time with my kids and my wife and it's been the most amazing thing because my daughter, she's 6 now. She's understanding more and more on what I do and like the significance of what I do. So I come in the door now and she's like, Dad, I'm so proud of you. So it's like, bro, like it almost catches you off guard. You're just like, oh wow, like I really like this means something greater than myself, greater than my own wants. So being able to do that, go fight, go compete, flip that switch to go out there to hurt someone, turn it off, come home and be a dad and husband. It's been an incredible experience.
Yeah, you seem like a really family orientated guy, which is great. And we've seen a lot of fighters in the UFC as well. People like Dustin Poirier who've come out and said his daughter sort of changed his outlook on fighting. He's no longer fighting for himself, but his family. Do you feel that same way when you prepare for a fight?
Yeah, man, for sure. It's like two different feelings. You're like one, you're like motivated and excited and happy and being in this space where I almost go into like, oh, this is my opportunity to be a protector and a provider because financially we make money off of these fights and things like that. But at the same time, it's a little fear behind it because you're just like, man, I don't want to, like, my kids are looking at me. They want to be motivated by me. I want to be the best example that I could possibly be for them. So if I go out here and I lose this fight, what do they think? So it's one of those weird things where you're highly motivated by it, you're highly moved by it, you're like, you take a lot of pride in it, but there's a small window in there where you're just like, I don't want to look bad in front of my kids.
That's fair enough. I mean, going into your last fight, obviously recently against Rafael, how would you sort of make that, separation between I need to spend time with my family, but I need to focus on me and work hard? Is that something that's quite difficult for you?
I will say I had a hard time in the beginning, like with my daughter, my oldest. I had a really hard time switching and making sure I had a good balance between the fighter life and the home life. Mainly because it was a brand new experience. I was a brand new dad, and for me, I'm very much like 0 to 60 with everything that I do. So that being a new experience, I gave it everything I had and kind of subtracted too much from the fighting part, and it really kind of impacted me in a negative way. But now that I've grown into being a father and having a little bit more of an understanding that part of my job as a dad is to be a protector and a provider, and part of my ability to provide for my family is fighting. So I have to give that everything I've got in order to give my family the other part of what they need is for me to be being able to financially help and provide for them. So it's one of those things where I've just kind of found the balance now. So I'm happy with where I'm at with it.
Nice. And obviously going into your fight against Rafael, as well as the family got to think about, he also looked like that he missed weight as well. Is that something that you focused on? How did you sort of feel about when you heard the news on that? Did that sort of change your mindset in any way?
No, I'll be honest. I was actually standing right there when they read his weight off. He went to check his weight, and I had already made it, and we had agreed on 160, and he came in at like 161.4 or 5 or something like that. And to be honest, I just like they asked us what we wanted to do, and I was like, hey, whatever, bro, you got it. And I gave him the pound, I gave him whatever, and I was like, hey, let's just keep it moving because in my mind, I was like, the result is going to be the result. Like even if I make this guy go and struggle to cut this weight, it doesn't change my game plan. And one of my coaches, he's big time into like that mental warfare, and he was like, "No, well, let's go make him go cut the weight, blah blah." And for me, I was just like, I've been so locked in right now. I've been so locked in with my overall goal and my overall purpose for what I'm doing right now that I didn't even want to think about any of that. I was just like, "Yo, you got it. Let's just go." So um, it was whatever. I just said, okay, we shook hands and kept it moving.
Going into your fight, you were, vocal on social media about your game plan. You called the leg kicks before the fight even started that they were going to be an important factor, checking them straight down the middle. Were you expecting him to throw a leg kick that early? And on top of that, were you expecting his leg to break from the first leg kick he threw?
No, honestly, like you said, like I knew he was going to throw hard kicks from watching some of his previous fights, and I knew he was going to throw them like from with no punches before. So usually you want to set up a kick like that roundhouse kick to the lead leg, and he never did it. So we changed the whole game plan and was just like, all right, well, let's try to sit down on this and sit down the middle. And we just had an idea that like I had superior boxing than him. So we wanted to just, check kicks hard and make him have to hurt his foot or damage his shin or just make enough impact to where he had to second guess or second think about throwing that kick again and force him to have to try to be a better boxer than me. So we just wanted to break him down, and that was one of the things. But expecting to break his leg was definitely not like there's not one like not a second in my mind was like, oh yeah, we're gonna break his leg. No, that definitely wasn't there. But I definitely did have the mindset that, and everybody does, when you check a kick, there's a purpose for that. One is defense. Two, it's to hurt that person and make them almost punish them for that offensive attack. So that's what I wanted to do. So, and it just kind of worked out that, I checked it perfect timing, stepped out of range at the perfect time, just enough to catch him in that really sensitive spot above the ankle. And, it snapped.
To finish the fight that early in the rounds, let alone round one, is quite an amazing feat. Obviously, you said on social media, you sort of see it going towards the end of the second, maybe the early third. Is it sort of bittersweet that although you got a really good first round finish, you kind of wanted the fight to go a bit longer so you could execute your game plan and sort of show what you were going to do?
Yeah, definitely, man. I'll be honest. I was really disappointed, and I won't lie to anybody about it. I was really disappointed, and mainly because, again, like my main goal right now is to get out there and put on a display of my talents and what my abilities are. And I wanted to show from my previous fight, before the Rafael fight, I had a little bit more of a Taekwondo bouncy style. And I just wanted to put on a different display of like a more like structural sound, like balanced kind of boxing movement style, So I just wanted to put that on display that like my fight IQ is so high that I could literally go from fight to fight and change my entire style, So I really wanted to put that on display, but everything worked out the way it did. But I really was disappointed because, again, I'm out here trying to put on displays that, look, man, I'm still one of the best guys to ever do this in this sport, and I still have a lot left in the gas tank. And we really wanted to put that out on display. And unfortunately, I didn't even get a chance to get loose, really, So it just kind of, we definitely did want to push it to the second round, maybe finish in the third, and just really take them apart and just impress everybody. But it didn't work out. It didn't work out that way.
You mentioned sort of style there and how you go into a fight, maybe trying to execute a different style, sort of show how well-rounded you are as a mixed martial artist. And one thing in particular with your style is your movement. That is quite, in every fight, that is quite similar. How much have you sort of focused on your movement and your footwork in preparation to fight? Is that something that's of quite high importance to you?
Yeah, definitely, because I'm built for more speed and explosion, and I tend to find that if my rhythm matches my speed, so like my footwork, usually if I can get a good bounce or get a good balanced approach and like having a neutral stance and just having good rhythm, it enhances my speed. So I've always tried to focus on good footwork, and being able to explode in and out, and putting guys in position where they're uncertain on what I'm going to do. Well, is he going to be offensive right now? Is he going to be defensive? I've got to really, my background is wrestling. I've got good double legs. I got good takedowns. So being able to have good footwork, I'm always in position to be able to hit a takedown off of you striking, being able to counter that with a takedown or slipping and taking down or taking you down off of my offensive attack. So I think everybody is always focused on good footwork and good balanced footwork to, enhance the things that you do well, So that's definitely one thing I put a lot of energy and focus on in the gym.
I saw obviously after the fight, after his nasty leg break, obviously Rafael looks like he underwent successful surgery, and it was nice that you sort of shared that on your Instagram, wishing him best of luck. Have you sort of been in contact with him since, or has that sort of been the end of the contact, just checking how he is?
No, I've been kind of linked between the promotion. The promotion has done a great job with kind of making sure that they've updated us on everything that's been happening with him. But I've just been in contact with them, and he went home yesterday. I believe he was able to leave the hospital after the break. He went into emergency surgery, and yesterday he was able to go home to his family, which is amazing. Because something like that could have been much worse than what it was. He could have had to stay here for a few more weeks or something like that, and be away from his family, and then not just have to be away from his family, but his family be worried or panicked or maybe possibly not be able to come here to be with him. So that was all that was kind of encouraging to see him be able to have a successful surgery and be able to go home to his family.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like you said, I'm sure hopefully he recovers fully soon. But going back to you, you're on a 3-fight win streak now, which is absolutely incredible. Obviously, getting the attention of Dana, Sean Shelby. What's sort of next for you? I know you mentioned that you're happy, you could take a short notice fight in the UFC if they're offering. But in terms of a return date, when's the ideal time for you?
Well, we're going to try to do something in May, either late May or early July. I'm just going to keep this thing going. I'm just going to keep it going, and if I get a short notice call, I'll be prepared for that. If I don't, I'll go and find another fight, and I'll just keep my body loose and just see what happens, Is there a guarantee that something will happen and I get back to the UFC? No, but man, I live such a favored, blessed life. God has been moving in my life for so long, man. Why not? Like, why not go for it? It's not like if this doesn't work out and oh my gosh, my life is over. It's oh my gosh, what am I going to do? No, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I at least I can say that I gave it everything I could to get back there, and that's what I'll continue to do. And once I do, if I do get that opportunity, once I do get the opportunity, I'm going to show people what I'm really capable of. I didn't do that the first time around. I just looked like flashes of what I could have been, and it bugs me. Every promotion that I've been in, I've had a winning record, regardless of where I've gone, and that's one place that I didn't get that done in. And I would like to see if I can get back in there and put on a display of abilities that I should have done the first time around.
You mentioned that obviously you'd like to get back into the UFC, although it's no guarantee. You should sort of take fights, when you can, sort of build up to that. Is that something that's always in the back of your mind going up to a fight? Or do you just sort of look at the fight as I need to win this instead of I need to win this to get into the UFC?
Yeah, no, I look at the fight as that fight, because if I look past that fight or I look and I'm like, oh, I'm only doing this because of this, it could put me in a situation where this guy that shouldn't beat me beats me, and then I derail everything that I'm trying to do right now. So I can only give it everything I got for that fight. I don't look at these fights like a lot of people look at these fights and be like, oh, these are regional fights, these are blah, blah, blah fights, these are whatever guys. But I don't look at it like that. I look at every fight like this is going to be the toughest fight I've ever had in my career, So that's how I approach everything. I think everybody should approach anything in life with that kind of mindset, not looking at what your end goal is, but looking at that one task at hand as if like this is everything. So that's kind of approach that I continue to take, and that's how I'll continue to do it. So in my mind, if this is it, this could be my retirement fight almost, is the kind of approach that I take.
So looking at the state, obviously the UFC, I know you said you don't want to fixate on it too much, and the lightweight division itself, obviously you fought Charles previously when you were in the UFC. How do you sort of see, the contenders in that division? And do you think, you'd match up well with quite a few people there?
Yeah, man, I look at the landscape right now, and I see it as like it's almost at a standstill. Like there's a lot of talented guys, which is always the case in the lightweight division. It's kind of like the middle ground. Like everybody can make 55, and it's a really like a lot of talent. But I also see a lot of guys that are kind of like flashing really quick. Like, oh, that guy's a world beater. Oh, that guy's the next guy. And then like for example, a Dan Hooker. Like he was the man. Like he was supposed to be that guy, and he faded pretty quickly. And I think that's kind of what's happening a lot in the lightweight division. Like they're still reaching for like, let's make these exciting fights with like Tony Ferguson and, like things like that. And I just see it as this landscape right now. The timing of it is like, yo, like maybe I could slide in and, add my name to this new storyline, and I mean, everybody likes a redemption story, so why not try to slide in and give this a new vibe, and, you look at, I look at Charles Oliveira and I'm like, yo, that guy is incredible right now, man. But I know that I could get in there and compete with guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause the guy that he just beat, even though he knocked him out, like I beat that dude twice, you know what I mean? Like, and I beat him easily every single time. It's just unfortunate that I just didn't accomplish my goals when I got there, when I had the opportunity. But I still know I got a lot of gas in my tank and I got a lot of pop in my athleticism, and I could get out there and go head to head with anybody, and when I'm in the right mindset, when I'm physically prepared. So I just look at the whole landscape right now. I'm like, yo, it's wide open for somebody to jump in and be like, yo, let's go. Like, let's put some eyeballs on this TV screen, and why not be one of those guys that do that,
Yeah, and you spoke of Charles. Obviously, he's got a massive fight against Justin Gaethje coming up, and another big fight in that division is Tony Ferguson and Michael Chandler. I mean, judging obviously, I'm sure you've watched those guys. I mean, how do you sort of see both those fights going?
Yeah, the Charles Oliveira fight and Gaethje fight is an interesting one, because they're kind of similar in their style, but not at the same time. Where like they just eat punches, and they can eat punches and keep coming forward, and you drop them, they'll get back up, and that's kind of what they feed off of. They're hoping that almost like you punch yourself out, like you get tired of beating them up, and then all of a sudden you make a mistake. And I think Charles has done a really good job with, that kind of strategy recently, which is not my cup of tea. Like I'm not big into like taking damage until you get tired or something happens where I slide one in there. Not taking away from his skill set and his abilities at all, but you see it a lot. These guys get tired and they're like, I hit them with everything I had, my best shots, and all of a sudden they slip up and fall into a rear naked choke or guillotine or something like that, and he tapped him or knocked him out. And same thing with Gaethje. You get so tired, or you get encouraged by punching him so much. Oh, I'm landing, and then all of a sudden he cracks you with something because you left your guard down because he didn't go away. So it's going to be an interesting fight between Oliver and Gaethje. And as far as Chandler and Tony goes, I think, if I'm being honest, I think that's going to be a toss-up between who's got the better chin. Really, like at this point, I think they both have chins that are deteriorating and just kind of coming undone. And not the chin that they had when they first started out fighting, where they can go into a battle and take a couple off the dome and walk through them. So I think it's going to come down to who lands first. And I don't know. It'll be entertaining though.
Definitely, and obviously looking at Charles, like his previous fights against Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier, he's got clipped in those and dropped in the first round in both of those fights. Do you sort of see that as a champion? Do you think he gets less credibility for that, or does that make him even better? How he's faced that in both his last fights against top guys, and he's come back and got the win.
No, I think that gives him I give him a boost for that, because it shows his championship mantle, his mentality as a champion's mentality, where, if I get knocked down in this fight, then I need to get back up like a champion. Like if I get knocked down in life, if I can't complete a goal in life, I can't allow that to be the thing that decides or determines what I do next and what my end goal is, So for him to be able to get knocked down and get dropped as much as he has and be able to get back up, it's not ideal. I don't, again, that's not my cup of tea. I don't want, like, sometimes that doesn't end as well as it has, but I give him a boost for that. That's a champion's mentality. That's a champion's style of doing things. Like this guy dropped me. He could have knocked me out, but I'm still here, and to come out with a victory, that's what champions do,
Yeah, and just sort of final few questions. I kind of want to take away from the whole aspect of fighting and the journey, and just sort of like just focus on a few, to be honest, quite random things. I just want to know,
Yeah.
obviously, in fighting, you get a lot of bonuses, things like that, big bonuses. And if you got like, I don't know, an ideal bonus, but instead of money, it's a dream vacation for you and your family, where would that be and why?
Oh man, I think I would. Honestly, I don't even know because my wife, like, if I would do vacation for sure, like all inclusive, like everything paid for a vacation or something like that. But I would let my wife pick because I'm not really that big into traveling. There's no places on my bucket list that I want to visit. But like
Really?
everywhere that we've gone, either Bali, Australia, Cambodia, Singapore, any place that we've ever gone, she's picked it. She's picked that place. So, and she's done a great job with like picking a place where I'm going to enjoy myself and have fun. So, I would leave it to her. If I want everything, I'd be like, hey, here's the money. You do the planning, you do the things, you do the scheduling. I'll just show up when it's time to get on the plane.
You sound like you've been to a few good places, but you seriously got nothing on the bucket list. Like nowhere you'd really like to go.
Man, like Honestly, no, man. Like I said, like my bucket list is literally like, and not many people will believe this, and it sounds really cliche, but I've checked off my bucket list. Like I'm a very simple guy. Like I genuinely wanted to be a dad. I genuinely wanted to be a husband. I wanted to have or be able to provide for my family and give them a house and all these different things that maybe I wasn't able to have when I was a kid. You know, it wasn't given to me. So to be able to do those things, those are my bucket list has been checked off. You know, and um, now it's just kind of like living life, and everything else is just like the frosting or the cherry on top. So I've done my part. Now I let my wife do the rest.
Fair enough. That's a really good way to look at it, and quite a random question, nothing related to what I've just asked you. But I always find it quite an interesting thing as you're a fighter. You know, fighter, you've got the warrior spirit. I mean, if you transported back to the Colosseum in Rome 2,000 odd years ago, and you're a fighter, what would your weapon of choice be in the Colosseum, and why?
Oh, I would probably go just a basic sword and like sword and shield. Probably not even a shield, mainly because I would have to picture myself kind of. I try to picture myself as the same build, the same like athleticism, the same style of movement. So I would really want to be lightweight all the time, and be able to get in and get out on people and move my feet and be athletic and maybe be able to pick somebody up and suplex them or double leg them down and hit them with the poke in the side with the sword or something, I would rather have one hand free. So if you're in range, maybe I don't know, may I hit you with an elbow, can punch you and then stab you. I don't know,
Yeah,
man. But
dual
the
wield to get
lighter the
used
better,
to
I
it.
think. You
Yeah,
want good armor on your body, but the lighter the better. I don't know, man.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. And obviously, if you want to shout anything out, sponsors, family, anyone at all, then the floor is yours.
Yeah, man. I just want to first off give all praise and glory to God, man. Like I genuinely I don't get to go on this journey to try to get back to the UFC if it's not for what God has done in my life and for Him to put such a solid foundation under my feet to be able to stand strong. My wife, I want to thank my wife especially because, again, like without God and Him blessing me with my wife, who's been incredible in my corner, who she's backed me since the moment I told her, hey, babe, this is my goal and this is what I want to try to do. This, are you with me? And she's never like blinked or flinched. So for her to continue to walk with me, I'm so grateful for that. And just anybody that's been in my life that has continued to support me and give me the encouragement to move forward and go after this goal is I just want to thank them and I'm blessed.
Perfect.